She's a nurse. She does? No, I've had a lot of conversations with her. It's never trauma nurse has come up many times. She put it by a little bit. You're right there.
I think because I worked on the mayoral campaign, it came up as a complicated. And she gets to more.
I'm gonna ask her about that. I have to say I did.
I don't know that I would have thrown around otherwise.
I don't know.
Alrighty, y'all. Let's get started. Welcome, welcome, everybody. It is 7:02. We'll call this meeting to order. Start with the attendance.
Chair Magana,
Present.
Vice Chair Ramos,
Here.
Commissioner Banks,
Here.
Commissioner Westphal, Commissioner Reyes, Commissioner Gardner,
Here.
Commissioner Mendoza,
Here.
Commissioner Jolly, Commissioner Wendy, Commissioner Brown,
President.
Commissioner Allen,
Here.
Commissioner Stellar,
Here.
and we have one.
Wonderful. We did it, y'all. We did it. Which leads us to our next item, the consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve items A through F?
Move approval. Well, I'm sorry, but the minutes in February at the bottom, still, at least the last draft I found, still say that the next meeting is November 2023, so that can, a correction to be made in those minutes.
I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve items A through F with a change to C.
So moved. And I did not see minutes for our March 20th meeting.
Oh, my apologies. I thought I sent it to you guys, but it is on the, commission website.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm seeing in the,
All
I
right.
apologize.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't come as part of the packet.
It usually does. I probably forgot to attach it to the emails that I sent you guys.
Forgetting is not allowed, but we'll forget.
Well, what we'll do is we will approve items A through F with the exception of B and with the change into the C, correct?
Yes, and the change in.
C. I'd like to entertain that motion.
I'll move that one.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. We have a second.
I'll second.
Commissioner Brown seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All abstained?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I was gonna say, I think I have to abstain from the
Thank you.
minutes. No, as long as I read them and,
Yeah.
okay.
Motion passes. We move on to the public record. Do we have any correspondence?
We did not receive any correspondence.
Thank you. We'll move on to open forum. Do we have any members in the public here for open forum? We'll move on then to item A, 5A, information staff spotlight. We'll start with our Rose Garden Library.
Yay! And, we have our wonderful branch manager here today, Tina Report. Who oversees the Rose Garden and the branch.
Good evening and welcome to the Rose Garden Branch Library. My name is Trina Whitford and I'm the branch manager for Rose Garden and Joyce Townsend branches. And I want to welcome you all here tonight. I'm delighted to share some highlights about Rose Garden Branch with you. So the original Rose Garden Branch opened in 1960. We are now in the expanded branch, which opened in 2006. We're in Council District 6, and Deb Davis is our council member, and Patricia Gardner is our library commissioner for this area. This branch is open 43 hours a week. Our staffing includes 2 full-time librarians, a full-time library assistant, 1.5 clerks, and 6 support staff. The wrong thing. have some demographic information about the Rose Garden area. This data is from the 2020 census. As you can see, we have a sizable adult population here in this area. About 83% of the residents are 18 and older. But however, with the proximity to the schools, we have Hoover Middle School right next door, Trace Elementary across the street, Lincoln High School down the street. Majority of our visitors in the after school hours are students. The combined enrollment for the three schools in the area is 3,600 students. So it can be very lively here in the afternoon. So we have some usage statistics here for the branch. Our gate count, last fiscal year was just under 79,000, and our circulation was just under 165,000 items. Our top three languages of circulated material are Spanish, Vietnamese, and Chinese. And our top circulating item types are children's picture books, toddler floppy and board books, and children's easy readers. So, the languages spoken at home for this area are English, Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, other Indo-European, and Vietnamese. And then, as I mentioned, we have 3 schools in proximity here, but we have 7 schools in our service area. The schools in our service area are Trace Elementary, Burbank Elementary, Hoover Middle School, Lincoln High School, Bellarmine High School, St. Leo the Great, St. Martin of Tours Elementary and Middle School. And we have ongoing collaborations with Trace, Hoover, Lincoln, and St. Leo the Great. Rose Garden librarians attend the back to school nights, coffee with the principals, and other special events. We're planning on promoting summer learning to all of the schools in the area. And specifically, we're going to be working with Burbank, Trace, and Hoover during the summer to bring books and activities for their summer lunch programs. And some highlights about our programs. Each week we have 2 tech mentor sessions, 3 story times, 2 family story times, and 1 baby last story time. I have a little anecdote to share with you from today. Actually, this morning I was up at the desk right after story time, and a parent and child approached and asked about getting library cards. So as I was assisting them, the parent told me that her neighbor regularly comes to the story time here. She invited her to come and join. So I asked her, how was story time? And she said, it was great. The librarian was great. And she said her son is in school and he's off this week. And so she said, coming to story time, it gave her the opportunity to observe how he paid attention, how he interacted with the other kids. And she really appreciated that because she doesn't get to do that when he's in school. So I thought that was great. And she's also excited about getting her library card and checking out materials and taking them home. So that was a nice little experience this morning. We also, as our programs, we have a partnership with our local Lost Margaret group that oversees the weekly stand and play program. Additionally, we have STEAM programming for kids and a book club for kids. More program highlights. We have special events to promote cultural enrichment as well as college and career readiness. We have special and ongoing events for adults. One other of our partners is the Peninsula Rosemont Makers, and they have ongoing monthly meetings here at the branch. We are very fortunate to have a very supportive friends group and amazing volunteers. Last fiscal year, we had 9 steady volunteers in the library who helped us with library programs and services. The Friends funded programs such as the Reindeer Zoom Room, Happy Hollow Go Wild, Sager Family Farm, Backyard Bees, and the volunteers assist us with the Tech Mentor Program, ESL Conversation Club, and some of our STEAM programs. So here is a photo of the amazing staff here. We have a very talented and energetic staff that work well with all ages. We also have some really amazing customers. I would like to share a letter with you that I will read that we received March 19th, 2024. Dear Rose Garden Branch Library, my name is Chloe and I'm in the 3rd grade. I know you must get a lot of letters from other people wanting to talk with you guys. Here's what I have to tell you. I noticed that one day I went to the library and you were closed. I didn't like that. In fact, I was sad and mad and I wanted to cry, but then my daddy told me to write a letter to you guys. So this is what I need to tell you. Don't close at 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. Why don't you close at 9? And then she drew a little chart with what she would like our schedule to be. 10 to 9, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You could still open at 10. I don't mind that. Oh, and I think you should open on Sundays. You should ask readers across the world to volunteer. That would be amazing. I hope you say yes to my request. P.S. Please don't write in cursive. I don't understand it. P.S. I almost forgot you're my favorite library. Please respond by the time you get this letter. Oh, but unfortunately, Chloe didn't leave any contact information, so I'm still waiting to meet her. She didn't hand the letter to one of our librarians, so one of our librarians knows who she is, so I'm still waiting to meet her.
So can we get a copy of that and share with our, during our budget discussion?
Yes.
Because I think
thinking the
that
same
would,
thing.
yeah, that would be precious and
Yeah.
wonderful.
It would be great if we could.
Actually, we should just
meet
bring
at
her
that.
with us.
Yeah.
I think she'd really give it to him.
All right, before we get to questions, comments, do we have any public comments on this item?
We do not.
I will open up the floor for condition. Any questions? Yes. Let's give it up.
I used to come here all the time with my daughter. I haven't come too much lately, but I'll make a chance. I'd like to know a little bit more about the access for Burbank School. So a lot of the other schools can walk here or they have parent transportation. So Burbank is sort of an isolated area, not that easy to walk here from there. So what are you doing now? If you just give me a little bit more information about what's happening with the Burbank. I know that First 5 is opening a family resource center there. There's some stuff happening there, but it's a needed area for resource. So I was just wondering what is that partnership look like?
We're reaching out to them. Thus far, we haven't been able to, go to Burbank, in the amount of time I've been here. I've been here since September of last year. But they are on our priority list. We're reaching out to them for the summer lunch. We will be doing, summer lunch outreach and their priority, but we definitely, want to work with them and bring activities to them because as you mentioned, it's not within walking distance.
And I'm happy to set up a meeting with a school board member there who actually has a very small child. And hear and also sort of introduce him to this idea as well, and maybe that might bridge
That would be
something.
fantastic.
So I'll reach out to you and figure out how we can get Jeff down there.
Fantastic, thank you.
Other questions?
I'm curious if, you have, a large unhoused visiting population, given the proximity of Guadalupe, of the, Donald Taylor, the large RV.
We have some. We do have some. I wouldn't say large, but I would say we have some. They are welcome to come and use the resources. And we did have one gentleman who, had been coming here regularly. And he was even assisting other people in the testing on computers. So, in some instances, they look for opportunities to do that. Yeah, we do have.
And I guess I wondered if they had particular needs that they were seeking out to be met with.
No one has approached me with any needs that we weren't able to meet. I think it's just open space, safe space, restrooms, Wi-Fi, reading materials, thus far. We've been able to meet.
Other questions? I want to apologize. We haven't turned in our book. I'm late. I'm confused. Just apologies, but I will say thank you because my kids love coming to the library. I was telling folks when I was getting dropped off. You're going to the meeting at the library? Thank you. They love the space. They came to the Happy Hollow event that we had here. Anytime we can come to the library, we can. I agree with Chloe. We should be open more often, because they were bummed also in the strike zone.
And the ride, Monday through Sunday. Well, thank you.
10 to 9, remember, only 10 to 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. My, as you saw, my daughter was wondering why she was here and not up there, so. Yeah. It's still open till 9, so she might be up there right now.
Well, thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Awesome. Well, we'll move on to our next item. That was an informational item. We'll move on to our next informational item, which is our San Jose Public Library Foundation update. And I believe Don and Vice Chair Randall taking the lead.
All right. Okay. Good evening, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dawn Coffin. I'm the CEO of the San Jose Public Library Foundation. I know that there are some newer commissioners here who may not have had this presentation before. Every year, we come to you as one of the 3 entities that support the library and kind of give you an update about what the Library Foundation has been doing. I know you always get the monthly updates, whether it's from, Angelica as the current commissioner or Hillary, who was the last commissioner. But this gives you an overview of kind of like, what have we done for the library in the last year? So, is it the arrow?
Yeah, the right, the other.
No, the one that doesn't have an arrow on it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so this is incredibly small. You can also find this information on the website, but it's essentially our mission and vision and value statements. So we are a little unusual for library foundations in that in addition to raising money to support the San Jose Public Library, we also secure funds from the city to administer out as grant programs to other nonprofits in the area. So we're in this liminal space of both being a fundraiser, but also a grant maker as well, which really sets us apart from all of our other peer library foundations across the nation. And that's why our mission statement very intentionally includes the way that the foundation supports educational programs, not only through public libraries, but also through schools and community-based organizations. So that it encompasses both parts of the work that we do. But all of the programs and activities that we do fall into either an educate, an empower, or an engage category. This is our current board of directors, just in case you recognize any faces there. Again, it's all on the website. And this is our current staff. And we have grown substantially over the last 5 years. And I think we're kind of busting at the seams. So we're not planning on any more staff expansions, but instead really looking at going deep on some of the programs. And it's been a very steep growth for the last 5 years, and are really looking at making that not stasis. We don't want to just plateau and kick back and do very little anymore, but looking to find that steady state and be able to deepen some of the program work, some of the relationship building. It takes a lot to bring on a new staff member, and so to have them stay and learn all of the amazing things that we do to support the library itself. And then if any of you are on socials, we are too. And so would appreciate it if you would also follow us and share information, because we don't want to be the best kept secret in San Jose. So please, help us get word out as well.
I have a question. What is on, well, I'm not for the presentation. What's on the YouTube?
Videos.
We should all watch videos. It'd be really fun.
There's a lot of videos of Jill, actually,
Oh,
on the YouTube channel.
Can we do that right
for
now?
us.
He's like, no, move it along.
Trying to bring it up. No, I don't want. Okay.
So, as Dawn mentioned earlier, there is the foundation is part of kind of like a tripod, like part of a trifecta of support for the library. We have the Friends of the Library, which our librarian had mentioned earlier, those who come and volunteer. And then there's us. We support the library. Woohoo. So thank you all for being here and meeting for us. And of course, there's the foundation, and we all three support the library. One of the ways that the foundation supports the library is spearheading a joint advocacy effort to our city council members for items of importance to for all of us. You know, for example, the budget. Second example, library hours. And as you can see, there's been a lot of press around it last year during the last budget cycle, as you can see right here in the picture, where each entity had a representative going to the city council asking for more money in the budget. And then this year, we're in the process of making sure that we as commissioners reach out to our council members and ask them to protect us in the budget. I'm just looking at our liaison, wanted to please protect us in the budget. So we would love for you to schedule a meeting with your council member ASAP. For those who remember, I sent out an email, happy to bump that to the top of your list and let you know who's scheduled meetings, when they've happened, or if they're going to happen, and feel free to join. Is there anything I'm missing from that portion?
Just to acknowledge the commission meetings that have already happened, with Pam Foley and, Jose, were you able to get out to Peter Ortiz's? No, but we know he's supportive. And I think those are the only two that we've been able to schedule so far. So please do get in touch with your council member.
I had a question. I was gonna do it. So I've already emailed, Deb and Mary Ann, but I was out of town. So we're now trying to schedule it. So my question is, A, do you have talking points for us? And does anyone else need to join that meeting? So that's what I was unsure
Yeah.
about.
So our ask is of you to facilitate scheduling a meeting, and then we will come, myself or any of the other members of the Joint Advocacy Committee, and we'll be able to,
So I just make the date and you show up? Oh.
pretty much.
And we'll also share, the talking points are basically we have, our letter that we shared, so I'll share it again with the whole commission.
Okay, and is it okay to do it with the chief of staff?
Yeah. We should all look at our liaison here. What's up? How's it going? How you doing? How do you feel about the
Okay,
budget?
I had already reached out and, but then I thought, oh, wait a minute. Since-
If
you want to
I wasn't really
that work
sure.
for you,
What
and
am I
then
gonna do?
let her know.
I wasn't really sure, since it was just today, I thought, well, I'll ask who else
Yeah.
is supposed to go, so.
And I apologize, because when you said schedule a one-to-one with your city council person, I was like, okay, if it's one-to-one, I didn't even think.
Yeah, I can share the email again where I laid, please copy Dawn so that she knows when it happens.
It's not critical that I'm there, it's critical that these conversations happen. So, however, if it's something that just works and you're confident and you want to go by yourself, that's okay. It's fine. But if you want somebody to come with you, then let us know. Say, I'm doing me, but there's more than me. There's a good half dozen of us on the committee.
So Zoom is okay.
In person is best, but Zoom is fine.
And, and we would love if, for those who who just have one-on-one without everyone else, if you could just report back, that would be helpful for us to counter vote.
Yes.
I really want that letter before I go meet with Deb.
We have.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Well,
So this is a quick snapshot. You'll remember way back at the beginning of the presentation, we talked about how our programs fall into either educate, empower, or engage. This gives you a visual image of those three categories, and then the amounts of money that were raised by year or the last 2 years for those categories as a whole. So it gives you Gives you a sense of the variety, and frankly, that's part of the joy of working for the Library Foundation, is because it really does have such breadth of programming and services for people of all ages. So you know a lot of this, I'm not going to belabor the point, but just to give you an idea, as the fundraising wing for the library, we really do try and raise funds for the breadth of work that is done here. One spotlight that I do want to point out that we're really, really proud of, and we hope will inspire other major gifts, is Margaret and Philip Ma. And they are amazing donors who just care deeply about what the library does, what its role is in the community. They personally use it for their own family history, genealogy, local history. Margaret volunteered in the California room, which is how she started getting involved, because again, she was personally researching and using all of the amazing resources to see what her family history is and where they've lived, and a lot of the newspaper coverage of various different members of her family. And she was fortunate, or sadly fortunate, to come into an inheritance and decided to be incredibly generous and use a large amount, if not all of that inheritance, to be able to acquire the digital rights of the San Jose Mercury News to give to the library, so that, you know, all patrons who have a library card can now access the digital version of the Mercury News from the comfort of their own home. So no longer do you have to come into the California room. And it's, you know, to Chloe's point, it's, you know, not always being open. But now you can do it. You actually have, it's not just an OCR, it's the actual text that you can see. So you get all the adverts for those who are doing research on history and social life and issues way back, you know, in the 40s or whatnot. So you can see it, you know, the QR codes may or may not work on the screen, but we have this story on our website and we shared it, and we're fingers crossed going to be able to secure the second part of the Mercury News digital archives for the Evening Standard portion of it. So for those of you who know your local history, the Evening Standard will be a lovely addition to this resource. Okay.
I mean, you know, congrats on a fantastic pie chart, excellent fundraising. The revenue for 2023 was around a little over $6 million for the foundation. Again, as the fundraising wing of the library, that's excellent.
Yeah.
I think the largest donor, can't really tell in the colors, government, right? And then of course, you know, I don't know.
That's okay. So individuals is the screen color.
Yeah.
Most nonprofits, individuals make up 80% of their funding. So we're unusual in this. What we would like to do is increase the amount of money that comes from individuals. And this is where, again, you can help by getting word out. And so when we do an annual appeal, whether it's around Library Giving Day, which some of you participated in, or whether it's at the end of the year appeal, you can help us get word out, and you can be more like other nonprofits and have that stability that comes from more individual donors. So that's what we're looking to do there, without necessarily diminishing the amount of money that comes from government and foundations and corporate as well. So. And then these are our expenses. As you would expect, the vast majority of it goes to program costs. Some of that is reimbursement to the library for costs that they've incurred that we fundraise for. Some of it is expenses that we pay for directly. Some of it is grants. I mentioned earlier that we're bifurcated and that we give out grants as well as receive funding for the library. And so in the program operation, expenses here is also the grants that we give out to nonprofits or to school districts as well to, again, do good in the community. Yeah. And then this is what it has looked like since the inception of the Library Foundation.
Up.
Yeah, we did change this. I will admit to using mathematics in our favor, to just do this as cumulative, so it's only ever going to increase. But
But look how much it's.
But it looks
it's a
so
nice
nice.
visual, right? So, our goal is, it took us 35 years to raise our first $35 million. Our goal is to raise the next $35 million in 5 years, so that by our 40th anniversary, we will have secured $70 million for the library. We are on track. We're on track to do that. So by 2027, hopefully, we'll get a lot closer, surpass what's on there at the moment.
Yeah, there's not even.
What were there government extra funds that happened between 2020 and 2022? What was I mean, there's a large leap there.
So
What was that attributed?
you'll remember that was COVID times.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of ARP money, American Rescue Plan Act. And so we were fortunate to get quite a lot of that through the city and the library.
Especially with the digital.
Yes, and then there's been other funds that have come through as well, including the Resilience Corps program, which will they be getting a report on the Resilience Corps program?
Part of the conference, report that will be.
Okay. And then I just want to point out, not only do we think that we're great, but we have external validation that we are doing a good job, we're transparent, we steward donors' resources and donations to us in a good, ethical, healthy way. And so these are the top 4 independent kind of seals of approval, if you will. And then please you check us out online if you haven't already, sjplf.org, and you'll find a whole slew of different things, including a number of ways that you can get involved and help share information. And so,
Oh, yeah, let's give it up.
Hey, thank you.
You have any public comment on our presentation? We do not.
Right, any comments or questions from the commission?
I'm not surprised you have all this validation of how great you're doing. The cumulative funds raised just shows that a lot of effort's been put out, and I think I like that you're nudging us to make sure that we are doing our part to make sure some of those individual funds or donations are coming in, because I could tell by the chart that was an area of growth that we should be aware of.
yeah.
That I'm excited for what's to come, and I would like to hear a little more about the grants that you're sharing with the community.
So first of all, let me emphasize, because you may not know, your work as commissioners, as volunteers, depending on who you are employed by, or if you have spouses who your spouses are employed by, you can get financial matching credit for your volunteer time. You can choose to direct that to the Library Foundation. Of course, you could choose to direct it to a different organization, but here you are as amazing library and education commissioners. So if you choose to do that, that's something we have on the website, a very easy tool that you can just click on and put in the name of your employer, and it will see whether or not you have a matching program already. So just want to put that out there so that you can take full advantage of the time and dedication that you give to this body. Regarding the grants that we give out, we currently have 3 programs. Jill, is that something that you want me to go into now, or do you want to save that for a different presentation?
You have a different role that you want to talk about.
Okay. Okay, I will do that then. Do not have any of the numbers off the top of my head, so if you want, you can follow up with this. We have been operating the San Jose Loans Program for the longest as on behalf of the city to administer this program that is seeking to reduce, if not eliminate, the gap between that's economic base, class base on 3rd level reading, 3rd grade level reading proficiency. And so this is a program the city has annualized $1 million to come to the Library Foundation, which we then turn out a competitive grant proposal. We just closed it and we'll be making announcements shortly for the academic year 24-25 grants that we'll be giving out. This program is specifically for school districts to apply for, but they can choose to do it in partnerships with nonprofits who provide expanded learning programs as well. So it's targeted to those students who are in Title I schools and are struggling academically. And so, you know, as I say, we've been running that since 2018. The next program that came with the ARPA funds is the Tutoring Matters program, which is under the umbrella of the SJ Learns. It is also oriented towards helping getting students be a grade level proficiency, but is targeted to the 4th through 12th grade students. That was like one-time money. We're distributing out the rest of those funds next week, actually. And so that is focused very much on providing funds for high quality professional tutoring to provide interventions to students who, again, are from low income families and are struggling academically so that they can get back to grade level proficiency. And then the third program, which came to us last April, is the Digital Inclusion Fund. And so that is a different slice of education focused more on nonprofits, community organizations that work across the city to be able to help people get access to high-speed internet at home, be able to have the skills and confidence level to be able to use technology, and to be able to have a device that's appropriate for their use of navigating the digital world. So with the changes in the federal program for the Affordable Connectivity Program, we're currently taking a look at how is that program structured and how can it be best used moving forward. So, those are the 3 programs.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay.
Other questions or comments?
A few questions. Are you currently in a fiscal year in appeal right now? Like, are you running a? No.
We're on the calendar year, so we're offset by the city deliberately by that 6-month time period.
When do we expect the next appeal to start?
So we're in the last few days, if you will, of the library giving campaign, which was like anchored in April 3rd, I think it was. So that's coming to a close. We'll do a smaller appeal in the summer, but a very small one. And then we won't do the major one until the end of the year, major solicitation. But there is a fundraising event in the works that we're not quite ready to share with you, but stay tuned and look at your calendar for like the 3rd week in September. For something exciting that will come.
Cool. Are you or do you have any like resources like the toolkit for us to do social media engagement, and can you share that with us so that we do like fundraising?
So we have a DIY kit for your own fundraising. I'll be happy to share that with you. And if you want any help setting up your own page, we can help with that.
I think that as a commission, like we could find ways to do like individual giving campaigns and our own social media campaigns, and reach out to our families and friends and put stuff on social media.
Yeah, I did that in my library. You wanna make my birthday?
Especially if they are centered around the programs that you were sharing as well. And so if there's any like materials, like marketing materials or advertising materials that you have that we can share, I think that's a good way to get engaged.
Absolutely. So rather than send it out to you as a whole body, as a commission, if anybody else is interested, just ping me separately or not now, and I will endeavor to get them individually out to you.
Other questions about that?
So you said you're gonna scale up the fundraising lot, it's like 35 million in the next few years was your goal?
35 in the next 5, so we're 2 years into that right now. So it's averaging 7 million a year is what we're aiming for.
Is it to, like, in particular programs you're trying to scale up? Is it the grant?
This is something that we're working on as we speak. We had a conversation this morning or this afternoon about what are the library's emerging needs and what hallmark programs could expand. It's also something that the board of the Library Foundation takes a look at and is intentional about. What is our role? Is it to be a blue sky and spark innovation and depth for experimentation? Or is it to maintain certain service levels? So depending on which direction the board sets for us to go in, we would have slightly different fundraising approaches for those programs. But yes, I mean, even if we got as big as we possibly could in this city, we would still be a small portion of the library's overall budget. And so honestly, I think the work that we do together around advocacy and getting those public dollars is the best return on investment for any of the fundraising that we can do.
Any questions?
I have a comment, no question. Great presentation, as always. And I came on the commission right before you were hired. You knew when the search was happening. And to see what the Library Foundation has accomplished since you've been here, see those fundraising dollars continue to grow. I may be mistaken, but I think the chart had 2 or 3 staff on it at that time. And now, we saw 8 to 10 staff I didn't count exactly. And I just want to applaud you in the leadership of this foundation in supporting our library. You've done an amazing job.
Any other comments? Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Wonderful. All right, y'all, that's another informational item. So we're gonna move on to item C, which is another informational item. Our summer programming and learning update.
We have our division manager, Vidya Plumbing, and she's gonna introduce a special guest.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Vidya Kandravi, Division Manager of Education and Learning Pathways. We are very excited to present our update on summer programming and summer learning. And we have a special guest, Paul Wilson, who is Branch Manager of the Tully and Mount Pleasant Libraries, and also our coordinator of the summer learning.
So it's nice to meet everybody. We'll get right into it. All of our summer programs, we're going to talk a little bit about briefly, starting with our sort of flagship program, our summer learning program. It is built around 5 basic quality principles of building strong communities, providing opportunities for fun learning, celebrating reading and literacy, and trying to reach and engage everybody citywide. As you can see here on the chart, it's divided into age groups. We have an online tracking method that we use that's coordinated with our website. Every summer we have a reading goal, whether it's to read 8 books or 8 hours worth of reading across 2 months. The program starts June 1st, runs through July 31st every summer. And we also offer incentive prizes to folks who participate, as well as those who reach their reading goals. One aspect of the goal is that you get not only giveaway prizes, but you also get signed up for a special grand prize offering at the end of the summer, where the grand prizes are divided up basically for each 5 age groups. And the more you read, the more grand prize entries you are designed to achieve. That's one good thing about Beanstack. It's an aggregate program that allows us to track not only who signs up, but also how much they read, and gives them more online grand prize entry and so forth. Part of our last couple of years, part of our summer learning program has included summer lunch outreach. We used to do summer lunch on site at the library, but we changed it the last couple of years to a format that's more of a pop-up library that we take to summer meal sites in the community, mostly schools, community organizations, that sort of thing. We offer books, story times, craft programs, outreach initiatives, and more. It runs usually from the end of the school year all the way through July. This year, we expanded the program to include a few more branches, including this one, Rose Garden, Mount Pleasant, and Bascom, just to encompass more of the entire city. And I will let Vidya continue.
Well, thank you, Bob. So the library summer learning program for early education is an initiative that is dedicated to enhancing literacy and educational experiences for children enrolled in childcare centers across the city. Through collaborative efforts, it aims to enrich the early educational experiences of children in both formal and informal childcare settings and promotes a culture of lifelong learning. This year, the library will be piloting a 6-week ESL Storytime program tailored specifically for caregivers and children ages 0 to 5 at the King Library. Participants will have the opportunity to engage in captivating new words exploration journey that children and their caregivers can discover and learn new vocabulary together. Thank you. This year, SJPL's Coding Camp series will transition into a series of computer science-based activities, workshops, boot camps, and more. These one-off summer learning labs will provide instruction and activities involving coding, robotics, app development, and other computer science topics. One-off labs will be hosted at all our branch libraries this summer, with some branch locations offering additional day-long programs hosted by credentialed teachers, and those branches are Allen Rock, Hillview, Educational Park, Joyce Ellington, East Branch, King, Biblioteca 7 The SJ Learns, the grant program functions as a, that works year-round to help close the achievement gap in San Jose schools. Since the program's inception, over $4 million has been given to schools to fund after-school and summer programs that address the literacy divide. Team HQ is very excited to announce our partnership with Youth Thrive. Youth Thrive is a non-profit entrepreneurial apprenticeship program specifically for youth that focuses on under-resourced communities to help them start their own ventures, earn real revenues, and gain mentorship. Teams can receive up to $75 in seed money for supplies. This year, we will also partner with SJ Works to host teen interns at all our locations. This is a collaborative program with Work to Future and PRNS. And these interns take on the role of the local library services volunteer and perform duties very similar to that of a library student. For any commissioners who are interested, SJ Works is looking to grow their network of mentors who will be matched with youth and help them navigate early steps in their career development and exploration journey. And if you're interested, please let us know and we can connect you to the program, and or you can also sign up on their website by going onto their webpage and clicking on the Get Involved button.
I'd like to continue on with all of our summer programming. We are also offering our annual graphic novel making contest this summer. Again, it's our 16th year of offering the program. Runs in conjunction with summer learning, where we allow folks of all ages to submit their own individual comic book of their own design, put it up for contest judgment where they can win prizes and recognition at our end of summer ceremony. Ceremony happens every September. This year it'll be September 14th, Saturday at the Seven Trees Community Center. The winners of the program, of the event, including across all 5 age categories, will be announced by our city librarian. And the whole event will feature guest speakers from around the local comic book and comic book publishing industry. Just as an example, last year, the program incorporated about 170 different comic book entries across all age groups. And it also included several programs at every branch that work with, comic book creation, sort of graphic novel artistry, sort of the ins and outs of the business and the creativity. And hand in hand this year, with our graphic novel, making contest is what we call cosplay on display. It's an opportunity for folks to dress up as a literary character, take a few pictures, send it into our website, and be recognized at the graphic novel making ceremony in September. They'll be offered participation prizes, as well as the ability to meet and mingle with folks who participated in the contest and all of the festivities that go along with that event. This event runs a little longer than the regular summer learning program. It'll start May 23rd, run through August 10th. But basically, all these programs run across about 3 months worth of summer. We will begin promoting summer learning and all the different activities early next month. That will include both websites for all these different events, as well as marketing materials and other promotions that I'm sure we will provide you as well to help get the word out in the community. To continue on with promoting our foundation, they last year started to support a fundraiser for literacy programs that we offer throughout the year. And we offer it twice a year, once during summer learning and the other time during winter reading. It's called Read or Raise. It gives folks the opportunity to donate individually or donate on a reader's behalf money to the foundation that will support year-round reading programs and events. The ability to donate is made possible through Beanstack. They have a donation component that we link to on our website, and we make sure that folks' information is secure and private, but you can donate as much as you want, as little as you want, once or repeatedly, and those specific donations can make you eligible for a grand prize that the foundation also sponsors at the end, makes available at the end of the summer. So that is sort of a comprehensive look at all of our summer programming coming up and starting at the end of May, early June. Any questions?
Give it up for our presenters. Any comments?
I don't see any.
We'll open it up for Commissioner Brown. Yes, ma'am.
I love all the summer learning that we do, and I think I'm constantly telling kids about it because I think I work with special education students, and the graphic novel is just a perfect way to encourage that writing skill because these kids are gifted with art, but adding the language becomes a fun and a great practice. So I love that they have this program. I noticed last year that a lot of the coding classes were like maxed out really fast, it seems. And so I liked hearing that you're adding more. Are you seeing if you could have somewhat of a flexible model to add on more if it just fills up fast like it did last year, or what kind of flexibility is? Are we limited?
No, we are not limited. All of our branches, we have a combination of classes by volunteers, residential teachers, by staff. So between the three of them, we covered the need. We also noticed last year that they were full day.
Which is wonderful. That's what we want to see. Yeah.
Right.
And I also like hearing that we've pivoted with the free meals no longer being at our libraries, but now being at school locations or elsewhere to be able to go to them. I think is important, especially when you talk about a location like Burbank that we noted earlier today. So, thank you very much. It was a great presentation. Thank you.
You're very welcome. We did participate last summer with Burbank in their summer lunch outreach, and we were able to get out to their school and do a couple of outreach events. I think it was a craft event, and another time was just a fun tabling where they talked about the graphic novel making content and everything else. It did prove to be a big hit, which is why we expanded it this year to include more libraries and more schools, more parts of the city. So, and a lot of city schools are participating in it more this year as well. We've already started to make contact with several city schools. I'm setting up different, schedules, for when their program starts, but it's a lot more coordinated on their end this year too, so it should be very, enjoyable and fun and smooth.
How are we sharing the information with schools? Are we going through their librarians or are we going through?
Usually they're school administrators, and a lot of schools and school districts have a, on-site coordinator for their summer meal program. Usually a staff member or a teacher during the year. So we make contact with them before the school year ends, and that way we can set up a schedule and get to know them a little bit better, before we reach out, in the summer. It's not always the same, as dealing with the teachers during the school year. A lot of times it's support staff that runs sort of their meal program, so contacts are a little different.
Thank you.
Very well.
On your program, I'm gonna call it costume play, I think you called it cosplay. Do you have events that go with that? Or how do they show up?
There's no events to go along with it. The goal is to get folks to be creative with their costume and promote the library by taking a picture with their library card. So we ask them to come to a library event or come to the library, themselves and take a picture with their library card and submit it online. They can come to an event, but there's no events aligned with cosplay. It's just an opportunity to be creative on your own. A lot of the events that are lined up with the graphic novel making contest, cosplayers are welcome to come to those. But there's no specific cosplay event. But there will be several dozen graphic novel, whether it's comic book writing, meet an author, that sort of thing, events both in June and July associated with the graphic novel making contest.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments?
I would just encourage those opportunities because most cosplayers, they like to come together and share. So that isolation, that taking a picture and submitting it is a little limiting.
Meetups would be great.
Yeah.
I will pass that information along.
Especially at a time when everyone's looking to socialize. Yeah, thank you.
Like the Swifty bracelet, they want to share.
Share and meetups. I would definitely promote meetups and other programs as part of the cosplay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? Let's do that for our presenters one more time. Reminder to the commission, that was an informational item, so it does not require action on our end. So we'll move on to our next item, which is our budget item, another informational item.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm Jenny Choi, Deputy Director of Operations. We are still in the midst of recruiting for filling the administrative officer position. So I will be handling the budget update today. Just an overview of what we'll be discussing today. So we reviewed we had the January budget update, if you recall. So we just wanted to provide an update where we are in the process and early indicators of what we know might be moving forward as we anticipate the proposed budget release. So if you recall, in January, we went over the citywide budget direction that came from the city manager's office, considering annualization of one-time funded items and work streams, evaluating department type priorities, risks, and offer actions that reallocate resources, evaluate and recommend high priority one-time programs in the general fund and reallocate existing resources to those priorities, allocating new resources to a small number of key policy priority areas and organizational risk factors, considering how the reallocation or continuation of existing resources impacts racial equity within our communities, and then of course the citywide budgeting for equity. At that time, we shared our department-wide priorities and budget proposals. Those included the Find Free for All, SJ Access to support the digital and equity program, cybersecurity compliance support and staffing, integrated library system, which is our ILS, our collection, our ILS system, sorry, and funding for the new system. And then the early education, family-friendly and neighborhood initiative support,
as well as a few, these are just staffing conversions and efficiencies to improve our system. So since then, we did do the subcommittee budget support letter. I can't talk today. Sorry. We did, and as you know, in February, we did the subcommittee letter, which we're working on getting that over to council. During that time, we did receive additional direction that there would be budget projection scenarios to address an anticipated deficit with a citywide economic outlook. So apparently there were some challenges that weren't, those city managers' office wasn't aware of when we got our initial direction. So this was added in later. And due to that, we just wanted to share, these are the early indicators of what we anticipate and have been communicated to about what could be included in our proposed budget. So everything that's grayed out is actually not anticipated to move forward at this time. The integrated library management system, we did receive an okay to move forward in getting a manager position as well as funding for a new system. The early education FFM staffing support will move forward at this time. Staffing conversions and efficiencies to improve the system as well.
And
That's for
I just want to clarify, those three bullets are all items that are no cost. So we are proposing shifts of our current budget to meet future needs. And so they were approved because there's no additional cost.
And then in our capital budget, we put in the vehicle fleet replacement, the branch facility improvement maintenance, the King Library facility maintenance, and then maintaining the funding for the building forward library grant and the grant match. And then currently, as Jill said, we are looking to balance within the capital resources for the vehicle fleet replacement, the branch facility maintenance, and then the King facility maintenance as well. And then there will be a line item for the maintaining the funding for the grant match as well. And
I'm sorry, excuse me, I just want to make sure I'm reading this correctly. The things that are light are no longer moving forward in the budget? Just the,
That's our understanding.
Yes.
That's the
At this
indication
time.
we have. It hasn't been published yet.
Right.
So based on our current knowledge,
that's what you think is moving forward.
It's just a reminder of the timeline for the annual budget process that we're kind of at this finalizing the city manager's proposed budget, answering questions from their office, and then the capital improvement program as well. We do anticipate on May 1st that they will release the city manager's proposed operating and capital budgets, and then here listed and for sure that the commission will be all of the opportunities for the public meetings, so the community budget meetings, the public study sessions, and then the public hearing of the city council. And then in June, of course, we anticipate the mayor's June budget message, the final hearing, as well as the June budget message, budget approval, and then the final budget. That's all for presentation. We certainly welcome any questions. The commission.
Or any questions or comments, any public comments? None. I saw Commissioner Gardner and then Commissioner.
I have one question. How has the library accessed the budget document process in the past? And is there a priority that you have this year? You know, the budget documents where every council member adds back money to the budget? How has the library used that in the past?
So one-
Because that could be something we use with our council members if you've got one like that you want.
So the process was a little bit different this year, and as Penny mentioned that we did have that late second round of proposals that were reduction proposals. So there were new estimates done on the city's revenues, which then they had to ask all departments to submit potential reduction proposals. So we're a little off the normal schedule, but what next thing that will happen is the manager's budget will be released. We understand early May, probably first week of May. And then after that, once that's released, then the reactions to that budget happen, or that proposed budget happen. And so that's when the council members can submit two things. One is, they call them budget documents,
Budget
which is
documents.
basically, or just request for information. So sometimes they ask us how much something would cost, and then we provide those cost estimates. And then the other is they prepare a budget document, which says they would like that included in the budget if possible. So that's the process we'll be going in through from early May through when the budget hearings happen.
how the waiver for senior fine?
Right,
Got
the
it.
council member, I think she
Foley.
put in a budget document for $5,000, Councilmember Foley.
Yeah.
For, senior fine waivers.
That was last year?
2 years ago, but it was for two, we've had it twice instead of eliminating the fees.
I'm a big fan of budget documents. I think now is a good time to talk to people about whether they'd really be willing to carry one. Love to know what your priority would be. Because if we assume that your guesses are correct, I'm gonna assume you know what's gonna be in there, then there's a priority you have that you want back. And I'd love to know what that is, because I think it's now time to shop. And we can shop now. I know you can't shop now, I understand that. We can shop now.
This budget hasn't been released yet, so they have nothing to react to. The council can't react to a budget.
Well, we can say statements like, we're really hoping to see the fines, lifted this year. If not, we'd love to know if you would carry a budget document for us on that. So there is a way to signal what your priority is.
We have sent the priority letter to the council. So we voted.
So, yeah, the priorities are documented in the commission's letter, and so, we can make sure to make sure you all have access to that. They line up very closely with our budget proposal that you got there.
But you might not get 10, you might just get one. So which one is it, is my question. So you think about
Very
that,
important.
but that,
I don't have to think about it. I don't know if you want to show the slide, but I think it's
They're in
It's
order of
also the
priority.
commission's priorities, which I believe have been to eliminate fines, was in the highest, and preserve hours, which they're not being threatened this year.
and the fines free is cost how much?
I think fines free and the digital activity are
And how much is that fines free?
about 70,000. And to eliminate fines for everyone.
It's considered.
And they're late fines.
Even for Jose, who's got some books at home.
Children are already fine free.
Yeah, they're technically.
Because of this position, actually.
Yeah, the children's lines is good. We're talking about fine food.
For
Everyone
adults.
shouldn't be.
Like, there's also the subset of seniors, which I'm not sure if we have that, on seniors only. Well, now we have this. Yeah, so we
That would
created
be
a
great.
separate senior type,
Oh,
which allows us to pull data on senior fines separately.
That would be
To
great.
implement the BC from, council employees.
Sure.
Yeah, so with relation to the fine free discussion, would it be possible for the commission to receive data on where the fines are, highest or in most impacted around the city so that we know?
which
Yeah, like a
council
heat map.
member?
A heat map would be great and helpful for us because then we can bring that and show them, especially if there's, I don't know, equity considerations to have in a discussion with council members.
And to add some historical context to that, actually, just met with former Senator Bell, who said he created one of the first heat maps of the city to show where the libraries were actually set up and not set up. So it'd be interesting to see that and then see how.
I like heat maps.
Yeah,
I like that.
especially to see where inequities are happening in the city.
Make it red too, very red.
And it could
Very
pertain,
red.
I think our council members, they see that their council district is red or not being served or being overfined.
And then maybe.
And it's a good opportunity for us to say it now. So
Yeah,
we're
and then-
looking
and
for
so the-
fines
the-
free, yeah.
And maybe if possible, that could also overlay with utilization, just a thought. If that would be, I don't wanna ask the staff to do more work, but if you happen to have that data, that'd be so helpful. That is part of.
We do have it, that's part of how, are we made the case to submit for this.
Oh, it's so fantastic.
But we can pass it around.
Yes.
Peter.
Can you hear?
We can know.
Oh, that'd be helpful.
Actually, if you give me a minute, I can pull it up.
We can pull it up.
Ooh, I'd love to.
We have to make it red though.
Blue is fine, to like make sure we're not angry, but like red.
Not angry enough. when I met with my council member, they were very confident that the cybersecurity through the city is sufficient. So what counter arguments can you give me to push that on the agenda a little further?
Oh, the difference, that is interesting, and I really appreciate that feedback, because we've kind of, tried to, in lieu of being able to have our own staff person, want to make sure that we're getting enough support from the city. The difference with the library is there are a couple of main differences. One is that we, through our partnership with Tennessee State University, we have a separate network from the city. And that network sits in a beautiful space between the university's network and the city's network with firewalls on both sides. And also the second piece is that because we're a public library, we have what we call the integrated library system, which now we're gonna have a manager and a new system. But that's the entire catalog database of all the digital collections that are integrated and all the confidential patron records, online usage and in-person usage. So it's a very special product that libraries utilize. It's protected by special state laws for privacy. So it is the library is different than other parts of the city. And we do have our own IT team. We are not served by the central city IT team in the same way. And we're the only department that provides public technology as our mission. So, city IT, they certainly provide technology that ends up facilitating service to the public, but their IT really is for staff of the city. Our IT is for staff and the public as well. So it's a really different scenario. And if you think about all the vulnerabilities to both of those, pieces, it's really different. And we're, so we're concerned about protecting the public privacy, making sure our systems are working, the equity considerations of the services that our IT provides. And I don't know, Anna, if I missed anything, but Anna's our expert and has been filling my ears for the past few months.
Jolie did an excellent job explaining what keeps me up at night. Maybe just two examples. Toronto Public Library was just a victim of a major cyber attack. Their services are still not back online. They've paid over $2 million to recover their data systems, and they are not fully populating yet. It's been 4.5 months. The British Library, same thing, different thing. There were 5 libraries that went down in a 2-week period. And we see attacks to our vendors on an increasing basis. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I don't know how many of you noticed, but our library discovery layer, the thing that you search BiblioCommons, went down. And that was because they were subjected to a DDoS attack, which was there was no data breach, there was, nothing lost, but their servers were down, and they were down for 6 days. These things we're seeing more and more and more. And so it's more and more important every day that we stay ready and that our systems are fully maintained, which means we cannot be subjected to anybody else's fake use. With city IT, we have to be responsible for ourselves.
Thank you. I think that's important information to share when we have our meetings with our commissioners, because they were very confident with me that this was not a worry, don't worry about it. And so it's good to hear the news about things.
So would the funds for cybersecurity support, would that be more for hiring staff or purchasing more to support the firewall?
We've been investing in our non-personal investments. So like we have a vendor that's doing what they call penetration testing. We're doing all of our own scenarios. Like we routinely run our own scenarios of taking things offline and having to recover them and go through data recovery and disaster recovery processes, network recovery. This is specifically to have one staff member that's complete job is to run incident response, to make sure every single device is updated, that every single time that there's a new vulnerability that's identified on the internet, that if we are running that software or that type of machine, that there is an update or a patch delivered within 24 hours of us understanding that it's working, and then communicating back to City Hall. We already actually have staff doing this job. It went from being a 5% role about 2 years ago to about 60% of one person's job now, and it's taking away from the other work that they used to do. So it's high level and it's really important.
And in the past year, we received, sort of requests from our partners, Tennessee State University, for additional capacity to partner with them as well, because they're also, victims of attacks. And so we just want to make sure that that we have dedicated staff that can help on both sides. We did, our initial proposal was to give up a position to create a cybersecurity position. And so there was a delta of cost for a slightly higher level position. I think since that time, though, that position is no longer available because we received a person who needs a position. So we requested a position that was available. Proposal that was tonight.
Taking deep breaths. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna show you a really pretty map right now, but it's blue instead of red.
Make it red.
I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so we get out of the fringes of the city. But what you're seeing is by zip code. Of course, we don't want to have anybody's identifying information out there, so we're only showing zip code level data for every patron in San Jose that has a fine on their account. The lightest gradation of this like white is anything $0 to $24, which means that they can still use the library. Their card is not blocked. Anything beyond that, any shade of blue, here, what keeps us up at night, that means that they owe up to maybe $56. Their card is blocked and they can't use the library. Or they can come in, but they can't take materials. What you see is the circles are, it's like your concentrated heat map about the size of circulation, how many items are circulating in those branches. And so just on a quick look, what you'll see is that areas that have the highest concentrations of people that have high fines and are blocked from the library are also seeing that their libraries they're not using their library. Right? It's an inverse relationship. And areas where people don't have fines, which are generally the more wealthy areas of the city, they are using their libraries. They're probably having a great time with their libraries.
I have two questions when I see this. One, does the city still send collections agencies to collect fines?
Say no.
No, we don't.
Oh, God.
We haven't done that.
Okay. Just wanted to,
Well-
that, it has been a thing before.
There is a vendor that collects fees, but we do not refer anyone to a collections agency anymore. So there is a vendor that is sending a letter saying like, hey, you still have this book, send it back. But it's only communications and no one is actually having this reported on their credit.
The second question, when I see this heat map, I'm wondering, in those dark blue areas, if we can explore in a pilot, this is a crazy idea, fine free in those specific council districts or in those specific districts. We see it's not an issue in other areas, but to say in 95127, 95112, it could go on and on. Students with certain city here and other places. Research is clear. Books aren't in kids' hands.
It's the same zip code.
Yeah,
Yeah.
over and over and over there.
So I'm wondering if that might be a possibility. Look over at our council member staff as well. But when I see that, I'm like, maybe in some zip codes it's not an issue. But I think the investment, and I'd say an investment, like there's an investment in the community. We can invest in those specific zip codes and make fine things for them. Just throwing that out there.
I'll double down on that and say that there's schools that aren't even able to use their libraries. They have to taper their entire library and students aren't able to use them. And it's in those dark blue areas. And so they're not only not getting access on their school campuses, but they can't even access the libraries in their neighborhood. And so where are they getting access to any material? It's not.
Other questions?
Because these are people that use the library, because that's why they have fines. They use it. And so then if they can't come use it, then where do they go? Okay, so fine free is the budget document that we should be working on.
And we will
And I
send
would love
you
the, thank you, and I would love the number on, we get it on our senior.
No, I think I'm belaboring this point, but, you know, through the chair, I would just make, I know that Commissioner Reyes is absent today. She told me, she actually asked me to let you know that she was, sick. But, you know, I know, you know, she and I both work on, in those, in affected areas, and it's probably gonna frustrate her. So, you know, this is something, if you could send it out to the whole commission, that would be very helpful, and I'll update her and let her know that this was discussed. So that she knows that how much that her, the district that she's appointed to represent as well.
I just wanted to make the point, like that is you're gonna do, I want to distinguish between book fines and tech fines. With all that dark blue area, I'd be willing to bet most of it is lost tech items versus lost or damaged books. Tech items are more expensive, and with all of the outreach we did with the Wi-Fi hotspots and the laptop computers, will drive up fines a lot faster than missing books. So I think that's a big reason the map is so differentiated in color. But if you're gonna do a pilot, you can do something that distinguishes between the two if you want to.
Other questions or comments from the commission?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, I know you mentioned the dollar number for, fine free, and you touched a little bit about the cybersecurity, but I didn't hear a dollar amount for that, or for the SJ Access. I know I've talked about this before, how important SJ Access is for people of all ages, right? Like, the technology and the services the library provides is so essential to community members, and so I'm just wondering if you have those numbers as well.
So, currently, the SGS program, the hotspot portion of it, which is hotspots and, enabled devices, was originally funded out of the American Rescue Plan funding and then one-time funds for at least 2 years. I think 2. And, so additional one-time costs were allowed for, as proposals this year, to continue them on another one-time basis, but our understanding is that it's not likely to be funded. So that program, yeah. So as of now, that's why I think that was our number 2 priority was, the entire digital equity program, and that there are a number of elements to that. That piece of it, there is no funding for because it was one-time funding.
So does that mean they're gonna be both, like the book of second and the hotspots are gonna be turned in?
Devices would need to be, provided with service. And so, they would be returned. We still have to figure some of that out. But to your point, to the point of the whole commission, you know, we're at a point in the process. We're not assuming that that's gonna be the final point. We're working hard to figure out how to deal with the fact that the affordable connectivity program is ending. The hotspot program may be ending. We still have community Wi-Fi in partnership with the Union High School District, but we're assessing effectiveness of that and indoors. And we're also looking at a number of other options in relationships with our telecommunications providers. What are funding sources going to look like in the next 5 years, if not longer. And that's something we're working on right now, and we'll be able to bring it back in the fall, probably right after we can meet. Right now, during all of the budget discussions, I think it would, well, first of all, we're not ready because there's so much going on. But secondly, we're going to do a lot of work to come up with the second phase of that strategy to try to make up for some of those costs.
So there's no number for that. How about for the cybersecurity? I know,
That's
the
not
council member.
included in the budget.
It would have been a handle.
Is there an approximation? of what that
Oh, like
would
an
be?
actual number?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can provide
That. Base salary.
Jenny, it was a high level position in that. It was $175,000 value for the position.
No, it's.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Supervisor. Supervisor. Oh, actually, they are.
Thank you. This is a naive question, probably. But can the foundation play a role in filling some of these gaps, or is that just not something we want to do because then the city will come to rely on them to fill the gap? Like, the foundation is there to help.
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, they do. So during the pandemic, we were at the risk of losing a few like critical positions in our education team, and foundation funded them out of grants and funding that we were able to get on a one-time basis. So they've been a great partner, as you saw, and support for us. So, but there are certain sort of operational, new positions that really should be city funded, and also the work that the staffing that the staffing that the foundation funds is typically aligned with the funding sources. And so staffing to support the FGM program, for instance, we have a funding source that the foundation raised. That's more appropriate than staffing to fund our cybersecurity, which they're not actively raising money for.
But like SPA, then all of it for that program.
We could look for funding sources, certainly, and there, as John mentioned, they are actually administering the Digital Inclusion Fund grant for us. But that's more of a community engagement and public digital skill building program. There is a connectivity component to that. The problem with the hotspot program is it's very costly, and so the Digital Inclusion Fund is not adequate to fund that as well. But, we're in Silicon Valley. I think there's a lot of partners potentially. We're going to be looking at all options, and if anybody has any connections or some, want to refer us to somebody, we're going to be talking to everybody to try to build the next phase of the strategy. So we're committed that SJAX will live on. I just said this the other day, I think, without the hotspot, there was a question about the branding of SJAX. I think it will take a form.
Other questions or comments?
Was that initial funding for only a few years? And then it just.
It was COVID funding, and, we were just quick to be able to put a strategy together, so we stopped the funding, and it was part of a broader strategy, and it was continued at least 2 fiscal years. And so we requested a smaller collection this year to try to, move more people onto, the fact is it's not sustainable, right? So the goal has always been to move people on sustainable connections, but recognizing the loss of the Affordable Connectivity Program, it seemed like a hard year to do that. So we requested 1 more year of funding to try to sort of a safety net. We're just gonna have to figure it out.
Any other questions or comments?
We made a proposal, but.
All right, go through the representatives one more time. All right, on to our next item, council liaisons announcements. Thank you for joining me.
It's great to be here, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. I'm here representing Councilmember Torres, and just like in the past month, we've been, meeting with different people throughout the departments, in the city and different stakeholders to go over the budget. So it's been a very stressful time, approaching the budget, especially after the stormwater permit, was brought on to us, and taking up a significant portion of the upcoming year. The surplus that we were supposed to have, but not any longer. So yeah, we were quite aware of how much this is a burden that's going to be brought on to many different departments, and we're looking to see if we can save as much as we can. Council members consistently meeting with different people in finance and in the budget to try to save as many programs or keep them going for as long as we can. This past month, on the brighter hand, the Youth Master Plan, we had it passed in NSC, I believe, and then we also had that come to our community meeting, and they were very stoked about it. And Deputy Director Angel Rios was very really liked it. He saw it, was really really for it. And then, yeah, that happened. I was in that meeting, so it was a very productive meeting to see how that can be incorporated into the city at a grander scale, and also Communiversity's mission, trying to inspire and uplift communities in need. Some upcoming events that our council has is, our city council has is Galp this Saturday, big Saturday cleanup. So it's happening throughout the districts. In District 3, it's in O'Donnell, Bethesda, Raymond, Burnell, Martin Park, and I believe Brenda Lopez Memorial. But yeah, there's a lot going on throughout. I think District 8 had actually like the biggest, or the most sites for Galp this year. Viva Calle is on Sunday, so if you want to get onto the street, it's going to go through the entertainment / arts district, the SOFA, and go down south. This Sunday, yeah. So streets are going to be closed on First, and as it goes straight down, Monterey. Yeah, thank you. Also, don't go down that route. If you're and then exciting on at the end of the month on Tuesday, April 30th, we're going to be presenting a proclamation to City Council, Library Recognition Month. It'd be great to have you guys there, and also a great opportunity to speak for budget and trying to get funding for the library. As a council member wants to keep as many programs in the library as possible, but he's only one vote of 11. So if we can get as many people on board, and I will try to echo all these concerns about, cybersecurity, SJ Access, along with all the other things that have, unfortunately are projected to be left out of the budget. But overall, thank you guys for letting me talk, and it's an update.
Any questions for our council member Lee? Thank you again for being here and being so active, and again, thank you to the council member for everything he does for our library. All right, for chair's announcements, I was going to invite you all to that as well. Tuesday, April 30th, 1 p.m. I hope to see you all at the San Jose City Council chambers to receive that the Library Recognition Month. April 30th, Tuesday at 1 p.m. Again, shout out 1:30 of 1 p.m. If there.
But the good news is it will be right at the beginning.
Yes. Thank you, Councilmember Flores, as well as Councilmember Ortiz for your support of that. Just want to echo again, we've heard this probably 3 times, I'll say it again. Reach out to your respective council member, keep us in the loop. Even if you show up to their budget meetings, their community meetings, talk to them. That way we can just keep folks in the loop and we can continue to advocate. And as we had letters from Chloe and our heat map. And I'm being serious. I think this is important, right? Our council members need to see this. This is truly what's happening in the community, and she even built the schedule. And her chicken nuggets on it. So all to say, keep us in the loop. And then just like, first off, thank you all. We made quorum. So excited for that. Yay. At the same time, I don't want us to have to be worried about quorum every meeting. So if we can, we know things happen, right? Life happens, things come up. Please loop in staff if you're unable to make it. As a reminder, if we do miss 3 unexcused absences consecutively, where there's 20%, there are some city rules that are in place for commissioners. So I don't want that to be the case for us. I love our commission. I want to continue to advocate. So please, whatever we can, just do what we can to get our commission meetings, because it has been kind of crappy, honestly, to have a long consent calendar item. And I think we have a lot of power as a library commission. The fact that library fines have been eliminated, that happened because our commissioners showed up to city council meetings to talk, showed up to our commission meetings to advocate. So I want to say thank you all. Let's keep this momentum of 9+ members going. And I promise you, we are advocating at the city level to fill in our openings that we have as well. Because we do have some openings and want to make sure that we have every seat filled and have a representative voice on our commission.
So how can we help?
Thank you. Yeah, we've done some outreach to try to facilitate elections in a couple of cases. I don't know if we've heard anything lately. No, we haven't heard back, but these past couple of weeks, we've been trying to encourage the folks who haven't elected
I've also reached out to the neighbors.
They have people to select from. Have applicants. Okay, cool.
Yes, I've recruited. Yes,
I was
great.
gonna-
Yes, and please recruit folks too.
Right.
Like, let's recruit folks.
So on that same vein, there are several of us that I believe will be turning out, so we're already short, plus we're going to have a big turnout. Oh, is it 2025?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
And Phil,
So that's
that's a good
with
point.
another year? Okay.
Any questions?
The process is, I thought it took 10 months from beginning to getting an email and say that you're on. And I didn't hear anything and I thought, maybe I'll move on with my service. It took 10 months. And I
In
heard
some
nothing.
cases, you apply and then 2 years later. you go
Right.
back and say, "Probably
I think the irony was during that time, San Jose Spotlight published an article saying how desperately they needed people on commission. And I thought, oh, well, it's pretty hard to get on the commission. You try.
So keep recruiting,
Yeah.
keep that pipeline nice and going. All right. Well, we'll go to, library director's meeting.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to note that we have a really exciting new program. We are launching a pilot program with Santa Clara County Parks to offer free feasible days passes valid at over 20 county parks. Library card holders can check out a pass for 3 weeks and use it multiple times during the checkout period. Passes are not requestable, but only available on a first come, first served basis at the Alum Rock, Dr. Roberto Cruz Alum Rock and Seven Trees branches. That's our pilot location. So yeah, you're gonna drive over there. Library customers are encouraged, you can call the branch to ask if pass is available before you come and get it. And it is a great complement to our California State Parks program, which provides library members free access to state parks. And check out an outdoor exploration pack, to prepare for your next outdoor adventure. So if you haven't seen that, it's on our website, of course, at sjpl.org /SBC Park Pass. Here's the cool thing. Another fun thing coming up is that Vineland Branch is turning 20. Which is awesome, but also I'm really worried in terms of budget with our buildings getting older. But anyway, we're super excited to celebrate Vineland's 20th anniversary. It's on Saturday, May 11th from 11 to 1. Then on your calendar, the celebration will include myself, or our council member, Batra from District 10, as well as local school performances and plenty of family-friendly entertainment from a bubbly party. I want to do that, and Happy Birds performance, made possible by the Friends of Vineland Library. And there'll be, of course, refreshments, cookies, and cupcakes. It is from 11 to 1 on Saturday, May 11th. And then, lastly, we are celebrating the 5th birthday of our first and currently still only Bridge Branch Library, which is the partnership with the Mount Pleasant School District. As many of you know, we opened that building on April 10th, 5 years ago. And so, we celebrated the 5th anniversary. The location was created in partnership with Mount Pleasant. It was the first time we did a full bridge functioning branch on the school site at Robert Sanders Elementary School campus. And it provides services to the school, but also to the neighborhood in general and the families there. So that was a really amazing pilot that we did with Mount Pleasant. We were able to do the capital and the building with grant funds. And the city has allowed us to keep it open by adding staff to provide the services. So, if you haven't checked out Mount Pleasant, please do. It's a fabulous little library on campus. And then lastly, our council member has been a great partner in planning for the Biblioteca Latin America Ana Branch renovation. We had our first public meeting, which we talked about last time. The second meeting is being planned for May. I think it's May 18th at 11 a.m. And we're currently working with the design team to compile what they heard from the community. It was a really active meeting, and post findings in the branch and plan for the second meeting. So just wanted to put that on your radar, that process is moving along, and if you have any questions, please reach out.
Any questions? or comments?
Not related to anything that you said, I was thinking about meeting schedules, and I apologize if this is on our calendar and I just haven't looked at it. Our June meeting is on June 19th, or Juneteenth, and it's a holiday, so we're just curious if we were meeting or not.
So it's been,
And I apologize if this is information that's out that I missed.
it's been moved to this Wednesday prior, so it'll be June 12th.
Oh, you moved it to June 12th?
Yes, because of the holiday, because it's a city holiday.
Yeah, they've done.
As one who had legitimate attendance issues, I want to make sure I've got
Oh, I
it
have
on my
that,
calendar, so I'm not contributing to a lack of quorum going forward.
At Bascom.
We can resend the calendar.
Thank you. And again, I apologize if it went out recently.
By the way, Biblioteca is a pit stop at Enoch County, so we're going to stop by the library on Sunday.
Also, shout out to council member now, Ortiz. He was a school board member who helped push and champion the Mount Pleasant branch. So I want to make sure we acknowledge that. Any other questions or comments for our library?
I just want to thank the library for passing out glasses for seeing the eclipse. I had an old pair from Princeton that I was out on the sidewalk and Sharon was walking by, you know, whoop, 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 did you see it? And mentioned that, you know, did you know that public libraries have an opportunity for you to pick up some glasses over the weekend? And they did. And so just like saying, you know, how great our libraries are. They even offered this opportunity. But I did talk to friends who waited patiently to get theirs, and they were really excited to have that opportunity. So I just really want to thank you for helping make sure our community was safe. Just viewing. And that people still have vision.
Fun fact, in those different regions that were most impacted, a couple hours after the eclipse, most search things widen my eyes. Moving on, so comments and announcements. Any announcements and meetings attended by commissioners as commissioners?
Like the others here, we were at the joint meeting of the youth commission between our commission. And I have to tell you, I was extremely impressed by the well-articulated, intelligent questions put forth by those youth commissioners. They were standing. I was just sitting there, just amazed by what I was doing. They were great.
I would second that completely, blown away.
I did attend the city council meeting, and spoke in support of the Children and Youth Master Plan. I did it for work and for the library commission. So I did mention that I was vice chair of the library commission and that we supported it. So the library commission is a big fan of the fact that it was, so that's fine.
Any other meetings?
Well, I had my one with, city councilman Foley, and that was really great to hear, you know, how she's already touched by the library with her life experience with growing up, but also that she, you know, the one behind the waiving of the waiver of the funds for our seniors. I just really would like to echo the please meet with your city council members and share the messages and the information we've been given. I'll be following up with her from the information we were given tonight when I wrap up, when I respond back to the bank first, because it's additional information I didn't have on hand. So thank you very much. And I so appreciated having information from prior meetings to carry in with me and be a better informed person in putting forward some thoughts and information that we have to further our rationale behind needing the funds that we're asking for and asking them to changes to be there for us. So I really appreciate what the library and the staff has done for us here in helping us be informed on, there's so many moving pieces. I'll never know them all, but I knew more going into that meeting and had that confidence going into that meeting that I think helped push the agenda a little further. Because I really want to thank the library staff.
Now, I haven't done a meeting yet, but I have done outreach with council member Candela. And he has invited a few of us to do, he hosts a little coffee chat. And so he's hosting a coffee chat, on the 25th at 9 a.m. He's invited a few of us to come and speak with him during that time. And so we can talk offline about that. Oh, announcement, I will not be in attendance at the next meeting.
Yeah, we're good. I hope we don't have.
Thank you for the great, robust presentation.
So yes, there's a meeting tomorrow.
All right, we'll go on to information, upcoming opportunities for commission participation. Reminder, you can go to our full SJPL calendar at www.sjpl.org. Move on to our next item, any items for future commission meeting agenda?
Sound access has already brought up as something that we be hearing about in the future. Is that already on the agenda? And
We would put it on the, so I think one of the things that should be on our agenda is the discussion of next year's work plan. That should be coming up in probably May or June. Because typically we have a discussion, we present some ideas, you tell us all the things you're interested in, and then we try to fit it into the work plan, and then you approve, can discuss it into the work plan. So we would be adding it to the work plan for the early fall.
And then I've seen this having Commissioner Hill here, but he brought to the table a lot of understanding about what the Friends does for our library. And so I would like maybe a discussion about how we could better support Friends and maybe work with growing that community, because I think our libraries benefit so much and our local communities benefit so much. I mean, I know a lot of teachers that look forward to their sales so they can fill their bookshelves a little more for the books that always leave and never come back. So if there's an opportunity there, I'd like that.
Any other items?
Just to add on what you're saying, I remember he was attending the All Friends groups meeting, right? He was like our representative for, is there someone else that is attending or will be attending those meetings?
I don't think that, I think with his recent resignation, we haven't yet designated a liaison, so that's something that the commission will discuss designating a new liaison. Okay, I literally just said, we can have a discussion with all friends.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Great.
Anything else, Phil? All right. As a reminder, folks, next meeting, May 15th, 7 p.m. at MLK Library, there's 4 SJPL Works. Thanks again for being in community with us and for all your service. With that, we will adjourn at 8:49 p.m.